Hello again everyone, and welcome to the second part of my stamps using my cards using the Be Thankful stamps. This is just a single stamp, but it's a large stamp, and such a cute little bee on there. I love this. And last time, you might remember, I made the ones with the torn vellum and the little piece of twine and the in colours. This time I'm going to make a more masculine card, and I've chosen a black base, and it's cut at 11 by 4 1/4, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. Folded it. Just get my bone folder and make that a little bit sharper. Just move that, we need that in a few moments. And then I've chosen crushed curry as the colour that I want to work with, just because I thought it went with the little bee and everything. And I've used some of the paper from the Broadway bound suite. Now, I didn't want to use very much of it. I'll just get the paper for you. It's a beautiful paper. It's got little gold flecks and really, really pretty. And it's a thicker paper. It's more like a card, but really pretty. See how those shine? It's stunning on a card, but it's so beautiful. I don't really want to use much of it. I want to save it for best. But, so what I did was I cut a 1 1/2 inch strip from this piece that has the little spots. Actually, I could have got away with cutting just a 1 inch strip, but never mind, it's done now. And so I've got some of the DSP and some crushed curry card. Now, you need another piece of black at 5 1/8 by 2 1/2. And you need 2 pieces of the crushed curry, and they're cut at 5 1/8 by 4 7/8. And that's because I wanted a nice border round. So there's one for the outside and one for the inside. And we'll go ahead and attach those first. Now, the sizes I've chosen are because of the size I ended up cutting my vellum. If you want to cut your vellum a bit wider than I did, that's perfectly fine. Just adjust your measurements to fit your vellum. I just went up in 1/4 and 1/8 increments, and that seemed to work. It is very, very warm in the craft room today. That's run out, I'm just going to use this. And a lot of my glue seems to be playing up. On the last set of cards that I was making yesterday, I couldn't get the glue dots to work very well. They were so warm, they wouldn't stick to the vellum. So I'm hoping, it's a tiny bit cooler today, but I'm hoping that it works a little bit better. Now, the next thing is the DSP, and I've only cut that with a small border round, not the 1/4 inch like we've got at the top. So, and as I say, you could cut this to just 1 inch wide, but mine I cut at 1 1/2 inch by 5. But 1 inch really would be plenty. Oh, that's empty. Let's pop this on with the snail. So just make sure you have that tiny weeny border. I thought this gold went nicely with the crushed curry too. I did practice one where I used the honeycomb embosser, and that looked really pretty. But it made it such a thick card, I thought it would cost extra postage, and I didn't want to do extra postage on this one. Okay, so now I have a piece of crushed curry at 5 1/8 by 2 3/8, and a piece of black that's 5 1/8 by 2 1/2. And I had it so that you could you know, layer it like this, but I actually wasn't sure if I wanted to layer it or if I just wanted to do one colour. And I'm going to wait until the vellum's finished before I decide. So for the vellum, I stamped the stamp with stays on and let it dry. It takes a little while to dry on vellum. Don't start to colour it straight away. And then I turned it over and I coloured just a few bits. I coloured the flower and the leaves. But where the writing is, I was using an embossing tool. And I started to use my new tool, the pickup tool that I've got from Stampin' Up. I don't know if you've seen this or if I've shown you it before. It has, let's lock that in. It has an end that has sticky putty on that you can use for picking up things like sequins and rhinestones. And it comes with a refill for that as well. And then on this end, at the moment, I have it with the little embossing tool on. And on the other end is just a smaller embossing ball. And the other piece that comes with it, you pop it in the same little hole and lock it. This is like a little spatula that you can use for picking up rhinestones or pearls and taking them off your paper. And the other end, turn it around and lock it in, is a paper piercer. So like I use my paper piercing tool and you see me use this, it's the same. But today I'm using the little embossing ball. Now, I have used embossing balls for ages and ages, and this is the first one I got, and it just had the one tiny one and one a little bit bigger and in wood. And then I had this set where it had lots of different sizes. Let me see, these are very fine for when I used to make a lot of paper flowers. And then it has one bigger one and one paper piercer on the end. But actually, I don't need those anymore. I'm quite happy with this one on the pickup tool. And so let me show you what you're going to do. Instead of colouring, I'm going to use the little embossing ball, and I've got my embossing mat from Stampin' Up. And all you need to do is, I'm going to make it so it's the smaller one. It's easier for you to see. All I'm going to do is just go round in a circle. And can you see how that vellum is turning white? I will go back to the big one. Now, okay. So once it turns white, when you look at it on the other side, it's slightly raised and it looks white. And you don't need to press too hard or you will go through the vellum. And it doesn't take much. So you can colour in a straight line if you want, like this, but I prefer the little circles. Then I know I've got all of the paper fibres broken down. And turn it over, have a look. Think, oh no, I need a little bit more there. So just go over that bit again. It's really, really simple. It's quite therapeutic too. And it's just as quick as colouring. The only thing is, when you're colouring, if you do a little bit wrong, you can erase it. If you're doing it with the little ball tool here, you can't erase. You can make it thicker, but you can't make it thinner or less obvious. Okay, so that's as much as I want to do on there. I'm going to try again to see which colour I want. So I could put it onto the crushed curry, or I could put it onto the black. If I put it on the crushed curry, then on there, or with the black as a accent, looks nice. But I quite like this. I quite like it so that it's showing through as grey, because I don't want it too bright. So I think I'm going to use it that way. And I'm going to try again to use the glue dots. But first I'm going to glue this down. I'm just using my snail here. And choose whereabouts on the card you want it. Do you want it to be up at the top a little bit? Do you want to have more space at the top? Do you want it to be just in the middle? It really depends on how your background paper looks as well. I'm going to have mine in the middle. And then I'm going to try those glue dots. You could change the end on this and put it so that you've got the paper piercer. And you can take them off with your paper piercer. Let's try just putting them on the circles, see if they stay on today. Oh, must be a little bit cooler. I think yesterday I should have had these in the fridge. They were so warm. They just wouldn't stick to the vellum at all. And I ended up using the Tombow to stick it down. But I prefer glue dots because you can't see them at all. And then I'm going to put one on the little flower as well, just so that it adheres down a little bit more, because this is all the glue we're using. If you feel like you need some more, put them on the back of the leaves. I'll show you, because that won't show through either. I'm going to be running a thank you class. We're going to make sort of 4 cards for thank yous and 4 of a different kind of card. And I think I'm going to use this lovely little bee on there. This is such a cutie. Okay, so press it down where you know you've got your glue dots. See, and you can't see them. And we are actually going to put some little pearls on this. And I've got the little metallic pearls where you get the 1 sheet of silver and the 1 sheet of gold. And I'm going to use the gold ones. And I'm going to use my Pick Me Up tool. And I'm going to put them just on these circles here. You could put them on the leaves if you wanted. I just like them on these little bits on the font. And I'm going to put just one. Let's take that one. Oops. Come here. And put one just at the bottom of the flower. There we go. And I have some of the cord that Stampin' Up sells. It's not stretchy, and it looks almost like it's plaited and sort of shiny. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a tiny little bow with one end of it. Sort of a bit nylon-y feeling. It's not like a ribbon. It's a bit more masculine. Oh, I don't like that one. Just try not to get it bent this time. I don't want it twisted over. There we go. And then just make it a bit smaller. That's about the right size for what I want. Choose which side you like the best. Don't worry about this frayed end, we're going to cut it off. And then I'm going to pop a glue dot on the back. Just to help stick it down. And I'm just going to put that over here. I know you don't want too many bows and things for masculine cards, but sometimes one just looks nice. And in this cord, that's not, not lacy or fancy or anything. I think it's just perfect. Now let's cut that little frayed end off. And let's make this the same length. There we go. Oh, I like it with the little pearls. I should put them on the ones from yesterday. Let's have a look. It just brings out the colour of the flower. I think I might put them on the leaves this time. These are the artisan pearls from the Share What You Love suite. I've enjoyed using these as well. They're pretty colours. There we go. That looks pretty, doesn't it? Let's have a look at the orange one. It's always good to go back and look at things. Just pop them on these this time. One, two, three, four, and let's put one on the very bottom of his flower. There we go. So as you can see, I've had fun with this set. I'm really enjoying it. But today's, I think, makes a lovely masculine card. Then on the inside, you could just stamp the little bee if you wanted. We have a bee in, I think it's the Dragonfly set. Yeah, the Dragonfly Dreams. We have this little bee. You could put that one inside instead if you wanted. I've got some little scraps left over from when I was just cutting the card, and all I was going to do was I was going to pop it along here like this. I was going to put it on with my Tombow, and I was going to make a pattern. I'm not putting white in as well. I don't think it needs it. I think it's quite okay to stamp or write on the yellow. These are just the right length because they were trimmed from the card itself. Oops. Okay, let's find another one. They're not all quite the same thickness. I don't think that matters. Just a nice way to use little scraps as well. You know how I like to make cards with scraps. Well, now the inside of the card has got scraps. Got that there. Now I'm just going to put the one piece that goes down. Oops. A little bit different. There we go. So there's the inside of my card, ready for writing in. And it was a little piece that otherwise I would have just thrown in the garbage. So there we go. I hope you liked today's card, and I hope you'll give it a go. It's a really simple little stamp set to use, and you don't have to stamp on vellum. I know my two examples are both on vellum, but I think it would be just great stamped on card as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you join me again soon. Bye everyone. Bye bye.